agriculture uses the lion's share of the Colorado River, upwards of 70% of the water used. How can the agricultural sector help in the situation we're now facing on the river?
So in any given year, agriculture uses between 70 and 80% of the river's water. When we look at the math for the quantities of water that need to be saved, this 2 million to 4.5 million acre feet, there's not 2 million acre feet of municipal use within the lower basin. And probably just above that if you look basin-wide. So to think that the solution can just be solved by cities is wrong. We just don't have enough water within the cities in order to do it. So agriculture has to step up to the table. There's obviously different ways that are palatable in different communities. The most common approach is fallowing, and we saw a lot of that when we tested the system conservation pilot program. People just said, pay me not to farm. As we get into higher value crops, and things that don't get tilled over every single year, like citrus trees, those aren't options. And what we really have to look on for those areas is on-farm efficiencies and other ways to reduce the consumptive use of water through some form of conservation, through changing crop types. There's a lot of different ways. And I think we're fortunate right now that the federal government has a lot of money to put towards these types of projects, but agriculture is certainly going to have to come to the table and play a role, and hopefully we'll continue to do that in a voluntary way where they're telling us what the best things are for their individual communities to adapt.
And even within the sector, it's not all agriculture. A lot of it's grass, and the same is true of the cities, right? The number one consumptive use of Colorado River water in cities is turf. Number one consumptive use of water in the upper basin is pasture grass, and the number one consumptive use in the lower basin is alfalfa. 80% of the water that goes to ag, 80% of that 80% is for forage crops like pasture grass, like alfalfa, like Sudan grass. One irrigation district in California used enough water to grow alfalfa last year that alone lowered Lake Mead levels by about 20 feet. So again, as Colby said, you can't balance this on municipal users. The ag sector, one way or another, is going to have to reduce the amount of water they're using.